Part 43. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the Beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 421. Surrounded by the crowd, Bai Ziyi arrived at the principal's office on the top floor. Several people glanced at Bai Ziyi and looked forward. "This is it. The principal is waiting for you inside." After that, they turned and left. Liu Bei's opened the door alone and walked in. The room is luxuriously furnished, with sandalwood tables and chairs, and leather sofas on both sides. And on the wall in the front, there is a landscape painting, which is vast, and it is worth a lot of money at a glance. The principal of the imperial capital stood behind the chair with his back on his back. It seems that he is a little anxious. He has been waiting for Bai Ziyi for a long time. "Hello, old principal, you came here so rashly, I'm sorry for disturbing you." Hearing Bai Ziyi's voice, the principal of Imperial City turned around. He didn't speak for a while, but took a good look at Bai Ziyi from beginning to end. "Tell me what's going on." He pulled out his chair and sat down. "It's not a big deal, I just want to meet Bai Xingguan." "Meet Xingguan? Why?" Bai Ziyi didn't reply. Seeing this, the principal of Imperial City thought for a moment and nodded helplessly. "Okay. Then come with me." Without saying much, the principal of Imperial Capital stood up and walked out the door. Bai Ziyi glanced at him and then followed suit. The two of them walked along the corridor. The result was not as Bai Ziyi imagined. He was going to a certain classroom to meet Bai Xingguan. Instead, he walked all the way to the end of the corridor, and the principal of Imperial City opened a brand new closed iron door. Inside, there is a mechanical door. This made Bai Ziyi slightly surprised that there was such a room on the top floor. But if the identity information is qualified, 360 butler will serve you. The mechanical door opened with a burst of sound. After the principal of Imperial Capital verified his identity, he made way for Bai Ziyi. "Go ahead, it's inside." After saying that, he shook his head and left directly with his hands behind his back. With doubts, Bai Ziyi stepped into the room. The sight that caught his eye made him couldn't help but open his eyes wide. The other layout is pretty normal, it's just a device in the middle. A golden stream of light emitted, and the rich divine power formed a thread, surrounding Bai Xingguan's body. She was sitting on the sofa at this time. She noticed the movement and slowly opened a pair of eyes of different colors. "Is it you?" Bai Ziyi nodded subconsciously, but his eyes were entirely on this device. What is such a strong divine power used for? Could it be that it is a special instrument used to enhance strength? But if you think about it carefully, improving your strength should be on the planet. It seems that the only thing that the Creator can directly improve is the so-called Godhead. "What are you doing?" Bai Xingguan stared at him closely and did not answer the question. This feeling made Bai Ziyi uncomfortable and made him completely different. It was as if the woman I saw before was completely different from the one in front of me. "Forget it." Bai Ziyi shook his head and said straight to the point, "Do you remember the last time we met at the headquarters of the Creation Building?" Bai Ziyi considered this a test, and he observed the other party. Bai Xingguan was obviously stunned, but there was no hesitation in his eyes. "Well, what's wrong?" This scene made Bai Ziyi a little surprised. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. The other party's attitude was obviously known in advance. "Forget it, it's okay. I'm just a little curious as to why we happened to meet there." After saying that, Bai Ziyi turned around and wanted to walk out. Unexpectedly, he was suddenly stopped by Bai Xingguan in the room. Etc. Bai Ziyi turned his head, thinking that she would take over the previous question and ask him back. Without thinking, she changed the topic directly. "Since you came to me, there are some things I want to tell you face to face. You'd better withdraw from the next competition." Bai Ziyi raised his eyebrows slightly, showing a curious expression. Why? He didn't think it was a threat or a provocation, but more like solid advice. Anyway, the best outcome for you is if you quit. Besides, your Surin province has already won the first place in the second stage of the competition. You've proven yourself, so there's no need to hold on anymore, right? Bai Zi curled his lips and chuckled, ha, if you want me to quit, you have to give me some reason. I've also seen the prizes in the competition. The championship prize can activate the divine power in advance. Even in the future, something with dual godheads can be created. This alone can make anyone give up on their own initiative. Speaking of this, Bai Xingguan's pupils trembled obviously. But what she said next shocked Bai Zi. I'm just trying to persuade you. Most likely if you don't quit, we'll die. Her eyes were firm and she stared straight at Bai Zi. The latter doesn't know why. What does it mean to die? I'm talking about death at the level of the creator, not living things, Bai Xingguan added. This made Bai Zi even more confused. How could he die after just a competition? Or is it the legendary death at the level of the creator? You know, this national competition uses holographic simulation technology. Not to mention the creator, even living things cannot truly die. She said she would die, which was totally unreasonable and unreasonable. I remember your words, but I take them as threats. Let's meet at the competition if we have a chance. I also want to know how I will die. Bai Zi waved and said goodbye. I almost didn't ask anything during this trip. It was not what I thought, not some body possession and replacement in the movie. Bai Xingguan obviously remembered and knew about meeting me. It was just that her attitude was completely different from that time. And what she said just now left Bai Zi with a bigger mystery. Kaka. After Bai Zi left, the mechanical door slowly closed. Bai Xingguan stood still and waited for a moment before slowly closing her eyes and falling into the bath of divine power again. I hope we will never meet. After coming out, Bai Zi kept recalling Bai Xingguan's words in his mind. Walking in the corridor, he was suddenly stopped by someone, interrupting his thoughts. Bai Zi. Bai Zi turned his head and saw the principal of the imperial capital walking towards him. Old principal of the imperial capital, what can I do for you? The principal of the imperial capital stopped in front of Bai Zi and said with a serious look, it is indeed a big thing. Just now I suddenly received a message that someone wants to see you. See me, who? Bai Zi was puzzled. At this time, who would want to see him? The god of the Federation, the ruler of the world. Hearing this, Bai Zi's pupils dilated. The god of the Federation, isn't that? The principal of the imperial capital nodded, yes, it is the god of the Federation mentioned in the previous competition prize. The god of the Federation is the general manager of the Federation. Standing above all forces, he is also the strongest in the Federation. Only the third place in the competition can get a chance to meet. But he actually took the initiative to find me. Why? Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. Creation of the world, binding God simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 422. When, Bai Zi was a little expectant. Right now. It was noon now, and Bai Zi had no questions. Then, where should I go to find him? The Federation headquarters. Speaking of the Federation headquarters, he had never been there. I heard that there were only top people in the Federation. A random sentence could change the fate of the whole country. Well. The principal of the imperial capital pondered for 2 seconds, I think so. The god of the Federation didn't tell me where to find him. If nothing unexpected happens, it should be the Federation headquarters. Hearing this, Bai-Ze no longer hesitated. Okay, I understand. He turned around and walked towards the entrance of the elevator in front. After conveying the message, the principal of the imperial capital was also ready to return to the office. What he didn't expect was that the god of the Federation would actually summon Bai-Ze alone, and convey the message to him. This made the principal of the imperial capital feel a sense of crisis, as if the focus of the Federation was shifting, and it had already turned to Bai-Ze. He, a member of the goddess party, was really uncomfortable. On the other side, Bai-Ze got on the elevator and prepared to go downstairs. Bai-Ze yawned when he descended to the 14th floor, looking at the red numbers. He didn't sleep all night last night, and he was having fun with the group of players in the Sulan competition area. But when he opened his eyes, he found something unusual. The scenery in the elevator disappeared bit by bit, gradually becoming dark, empty, and chaotic. Bai-Ze looked around and couldn't help but be alert. What's going on? Don't be afraid. Suddenly, a turbid heavy voice sounded in front. Bai-Ze turned around suddenly and saw a man wearing a starry robe, sitting cross-legged in the same place. His arm, which was engraved with hundreds of millions of stars, slowly raised and placed on the table in front of him. Bai-Ze felt it a little, but couldn't see through it at all. A ball of chaos, like a deep universe, with no bottom. Are you, the god of the Federation? Bai-Ze took a step forward and guessed the other party's identity. He was still in the elevator in the last second, and came to this illusory space in the next second. Even his body was in a similar spiritual state to that of entering his own world. Except for the god of the Federation, almost no one else could do this. Don't be nervous, sit down first. His voice became ethereal and pleasant again, lighter than electromagnetic sound, mixed with some accents. Helplessly, Bai-Ze walked over and slowly sat in front of the other person. The two of them just looked at each other across a table. Bai-Ze scanned the other person's body, except for two arms like stars. Other parts were actually covered by the starry sky robe on his body, which was brighter than the stars in the sky. Even on the face, only particles could be seen rolling. This sense of déjà vu was like the entrance to the portal of the end of the world, which was difficult to describe in words. You came to me alone, you have something important to tell me. Facing the god of the Federation in front of him, Bai-Ze surprisingly did not have a trace of pressure on the other person. It made him look very relaxed sitting here. No, no, no. To be precise, you have something to ask me. Bai-Ze was stunned by this answer. So, I decided to give you this opportunity. Now, let's play a game. You ask me a question, and I ask you a question. How about we answer each other and cancel each other out? Hearing this, Bai-Ze's face became hesitant. But after thinking it through, he seemed a little excited. The god of the Federation, known as omniscient and omnipotent. It just so happens that I currently have a long list of questions that need someone to answer. His appearance is simply a timely help. But thinking about it again, Bai-Ze was a little hesitant. After all, I have a lot of secrets, which are not convenient to reveal. How about it? If you feel embarrassed, you can leave now. He stretched out his hand and pointed to the deep darkness on the side. There, a portal appeared out of thin air. I want to play, Bai-Ze spoke immediately. Meeting the god of the Federation and asking him to solve my doubts is something that can only be encountered by chance. Think about it, in the competition rewards, only the third place in the country can get the reward. And I actually have a chance now. Okay, you are worthy of the courage of the first place. If you don't suggest it, how about I ask the questions first? Bai-Ze nodded, no problem, you go first. Hee. Do you still remember the Lich Annihilation War at that time? I remember, Bai Zi replied. Then my first question is, during the Lich Annihilation War at that time, what method did you use to block the detection of the Eye of God? The Eye of God is the strongest detection system in the Federation. Most signs of alien races will be accurately tracked and located, and there will be no mistakes. But during the Lich Annihilation War, the Eye of God was dispatched, but it didn't detect Bai Zi's location. Bai Zi lowered his head and thought for a few seconds, then said, "It's a high-tech shielding device. I can use it to block all detection and protect the planet. However, this shielding device was not made by me, but was picked up along the way. I'm not very clear about the specific principle." He put his hand on his chin, obviously thinking. In fact, there is nothing wrong with what Bai Zi said. The system is indeed a shielding device. And it was not made by himself, but just bound in the middle. Okay, I understand this answer. Then it's your turn this time. If you want to know anything, just ask me directly. The opportunity finally came, but Bai Zi's first question. It was this. I just went to Bai Xingguan's place. I saw a device in her room that released divine power. What is the use of that thing? Does it enhance the creator's divinity? Bai Zi was a little curious about this. If it was true, maybe he could get one to use. Very simple. He answered without thinking, it's not about strengthening the Godhead, but controlling the Godhead. What do you mean? You should have heard from Wang Xing's Huai that a divine power in the goddess body is gradually devouring another divine power. That device is specially provided by the Federation to separate the two divine powers from each other. Bai Zi didn't understand. Wouldn't the fusion of her two divine powers increase her upper limit again? In this case, the faster the fusion, the better. Why should we control the fusion? He. Okay, I asked you first in the last round, you ask me first this time. Tell me your second question, or leave now. Bai Zi was awakened, so he naturally couldn't leave. Okay. My second question is still about Bai Xingguan. When I first met her, it was at the headquarters of the Creation Building. At that time, she gave me the impression of being well behaved, but now she is indifferent and majestic. Why is that? He chuckled again. Spreading his hands flat, his posture was leisurely. This question is also very simple. Because, there are two people. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 423. Impossible. Bai Zi suddenly stood up. Obviously, he felt extremely incredible. If it is Bai Xingguan herself who was replaced, it is indeed true. But I observed her before, and when she answered the question, she did not show any hesitation. She did not think about it at all, as if she had experienced it personally, and she could blurt it out. This alone can prove that it was indeed her that I saw at that time. After hearing this set of rhetoric, the other party shrugged and waved gently. I'm not talking about replacing people, but they are the same person. Bai Zi was puzzled. Isn't that contradictory to what I just said? Let me tell you simply, you should have heard of the rumored second personality. Yeah, Bai Zi nodded. Could it be that Bai Xingguan is in this situation? It's very similar to this, but in Bai Xingguan's body, there are two complete and independent personalities. They are not split from one personality, but have existed for a long time. The personality corresponding to the name Bai Xingguan is the so-called main personality. The other personality is called the attached personality, and it also has a name. Bai Xingran. Bai Zi's pupils dilated, and in an instant, he seemed to understand something shocking. From the other party's words, Bai Zi roughly understood the specific meaning. Bai Xingguan's symptoms are a bit like dual personality. There are two people living in her body. However, it is a bit different from dual personality. It is not that the main personality is hit or persecuted, and the second personality is split. Instead, the second personality exists from the beginning, similar to the main personality of another person. It accidentally ran into Bai Xingguan's body and became the second personality. In other words, this survival mode is more like a body with two souls, similar to a sister relationship. I understand. It was one of the personalities that met me at that time. But at the same time, the other personality was also spying secretly, but it just couldn't control its body. So, it was like experiencing it personally and could answer freely, right? Bai Zi nodded quickly. He felt a long-lost sense of comfort, as if he had understood the truth. However, the solution of one problem has caused a lot of problems. The first one is why Bai Xingguan used the device to control the fusion of the divine personality. In addition, the two personalities have different names, Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran. The one he met at that time was the so-called master personality sister, or the attached personality sister. Furthermore, the most important point is that Bai Zi does not know how these two personalities were born. And the way and time they control their bodies are puzzling. Perhaps these problems are all related in some way? Okay, I know you still have many questions. Unfortunately, the rules of the game are the rules of the game. You can only ask one question at a time. I have already answered you. Now it's my turn. The god of the Federation straightened his body and said leisurely, my second question. I have also heard about the purification mission on the 10th floor of the Genesis building headquarters. I am a little curious about what is in the ultimate planet you challenged. Are there any special accidents? When talking about this, Bai Zi first recalled the so-called ultimate life form. However, this is nothing, just say it. It is even estimated that the god of the Federation has already noticed it. There are indeed some accidents. The reason why a group of creators died collectively in the mission on that planet is the alien race that controls the planet. What alien race? Seeing that the other party seemed a little solemn, Bai Zi did not hide it. Lebrando, the ultimate life form that has ruled the universe for tens of thousands of years, is said by legend. Hearing the name of Lebrando, the god of the Federation was silent for a second. Only the black robe covering him could not reveal any emotion. This name is really a bit unexpected. Then I want to know, his purpose, and how did you defeat him? After all, I remember that planet was conquered by you alone. Bai Zi's mouth curled up and teased, game rules, this is already the third question, right? Hearing this, the other party's hand movement stagnated. Okay, in that case, I'll go first in the third round. The question is this. His purpose, and how did you defeat him? Bai Zi raised his head and looked at the darkness at the top of the sky. Rebrando occupied that planet because the original creator intercepted something from him. As for how I defeated him, if that was Rebrando's entity, I might have died long ago. The reason I won is that he is just a virtual state similar to a soul. Oh, Bai Zi suddenly remembered something and continued, he seems to be relying on slaughtering creatures to absorb energy. When fighting him, he was also shouting something like resurrection. I guess that energy is the key to his resurrection. The god of the Federation nodded after hearing this. This is almost exactly the same as his previous perception and the intelligence he received. Rebrando, as the ultimate life form, is not only a threat to the human race, but also a huge threat to other races. His appearance once caused countless planets to be ruined and destroyed. It took the high-level officials of the Federation to unite with many alien races to kill him. Unfortunately, the ultimate life form is the ultimate life form, immortal. His virtual body split out and wandered between various planets and galaxies, looking for energy that could revive the body. Not only in the distorted planet, but also in some other purification tasks, the figure of Rebrando's virtual body can be seen. I have answered all your questions. Is it my turn this time? Waked up by Baizi's voice, he looked straight ahead. Your information is very useful. Go ahead, your third question. Ahem. Baizi cleared his throat and said, my third question. It is also related to the previous question. I want to know how Bai Xingguan's second personality came into being. Why, when I meet one of the personalities, the other personality will know. The god of the Federation in front of him tilted his head, as if thinking and sorting out his thoughts. The next second, he stretched out a finger and tapped the dark desktop lightly. In an instant, the surface of the desktop glowed with light, and intricate stars flashed, one after another, gradually forming a picture. Baizi opened his eyes wide and saw a lot from it. The gathering of divine power, alien energy, and the shaping of the divine body were so meticulous step by step. Then, accompanied by a golden beam of light, the goddess who was placed hope by the entire Federation was born. This problem has to be discussed from a long time ago. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. Creation of the world, binding God simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 424. On the day the goddess was born, some small accidents occurred. Due to the uneven distribution of divine power, two goddesses appeared and shared one body. At that time, I gave them two names, Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran. Bai Xingguan, with a gentle personality, is the so-called main personality. Bai Xingran, with a cold personality, is the attached personality. The god of the Federation used a voice similar to electromagnetics to state an extremely shocking thing. Baizi listened and was completely immersed in it. It turned out that such a big thing happened 18 years ago. However, according to the words of the god of the Federation, what he had seen before was the main personality of this body. That is, the so-called elder sister, the real Bai Xingguan. The one in the competition, who was more indifferent and ruthless, was the younger sister Bai Xingran. When the two were still young, they could not control their own divine power. So, there was often an uninterrupted exchange of consciousness. Of course, the main personality existed for a longer time. The god of the Federation raised his head and seemed to be immersed in memories. It was not until they were 15 years old that they gradually developed their own consciousness. This exchange state gradually stabilized. But, do you know? The god of the Federation suddenly looked at Baizi, his tone rising, the whole story of this matter, from beginning to end, only I know. Even the principal of the Imperial Capital Academy who has trained Bai Xingguan since childhood, only knows her state, and does not understand the so-called two personalities. But now, you are the second person to know about this matter besides her. Seeing this, Baizi's breathing became a little faster. This feeling is very strange, like a burden on him. Later, I will communicate with them privately. With Bai Xingguan's personality, she is not good at competition. So, when fighting is needed, let Bai Xingran replace her. Under normal circumstances, let Bai Xingguan, who has a quiet personality, come. These words only made Baizi think of two words. Weapons. Let different people fight in different situations. Although this is indeed a good practice, it is always too formal. Just like a tool that can be manipulated at will, without any human touch. Oh, right. There's one more thing I forgot to say. This is the answer to the question, and it's also my advice to you. As soon as these words came out, Baizi couldn't help but frown. The god of the Federation in front of him also slightly adjusted his posture. Because of the existence of two personalities, the divine power in Bai Xingguan's body has also been divided into two. This has caused her to never exert her full strength so far. One personality occupies half, and what you see is only half of her true strength. Bai Zi was shocked when he heard this. Just half of the strength. To create the strength of a monarch, it's only half. I've heard Wang Xing's Huai say this before. But he only said that Bai Xingguan's power was incomplete, not half of it. The god of the Federation nodded and affirmed, what he said is also right, it is indeed incomplete. And he should have told you the way to make the power complete. Is it, let one divine power devour another divine power? Bai Zi asked. It's good that you know. So, this is the advice. Defeat her as soon as possible before she gets all her power. Otherwise, when she reaches her peak state, you will never be her opponent. Bai Zi was silent, he always felt that the other party had something to say. Combined with the answer to the first question, Bai Zi had a hunch. Could it be that when one of the divine powers is devoured, the personality bound to it will also disappear? Otherwise, why does Bai Xingguan, or Bai Xingran, need that kind of device to control the fusion of divine power? To be clear, who doesn't want to get stronger power? Some people can even do all kinds of inhuman things for power. Unless the price of gaining power is to exchange the lives of their friends or relatives, they will stop. Bai Zi thought for a while. Just as he raised his head and was about to ask the god of Federation about his guess, unexpectedly, the other party lay back and took the lead. It's almost time, the time for this game is almost up. Then let's have the last round of questions and answers, and I'll go first. Bai Zi was caught off guard. He didn't expect it to end so suddenly. Hey, wait. My last question is. The god of Federation's tone sank, and then asked a question that made Bai Zi dazed. I remember that the planet you awakened in Nangao at the beginning, the data showed that there was no land or ocean, only a thin barrier. Let me ask, as a civilian, how did you get to this point in this state? And how did you get those legendary creatures? Bai Zi was speechless, and didn't know how to answer for a moment. The answer to this question is his biggest secret. If others knew about this, there might be huge risks. Haha, don't be nervous. Everyone has some secrets, I won't make it difficult for you. You can choose to end it now, or you can think about it slowly and ask me a question first. Hearing this again, Bai Zi stared at him closely. It is indeed the best time to leave now. But there is a question that Bai Zi must ask. Okay, then I'll go first. My last question, I want to know why I am during the national competition. Will I die? After the voice fell, this time it was the god of the Federation who was silent. The mask he wore did not show any expression. After just waiting for a few seconds, the other party suddenly laughed. Ha ha ha. It seems that she has already told you about this. Shaking his head, he looked at Bai Zi, but unfortunately, I can't tell you this answer. Bai Zi was stunned and watched him stand up slowly. Okay, I'm tired today. Since I can't answer your question completely, then this last question doesn't need you to answer. We had a great time chatting today, let's say goodbye now. What? Bai Zi looked around, and the dark star curtain was disappearing little by little. All he could see was the Federation god waving goodbye to him in front of him. I wish you good luck in this national competition. I was optimistic about seeing Juan, but after I found you, I suddenly changed my mind. So, I hope you can get what you want and win the championship of this national competition. Bai Zi's figure disappeared little by little, sinking into the deep darkness, and also returning to the real reality. The Federation god was left alone, sighing to the sky. He. You must defeat Bai Xingran. For the birth of the real goddess. Creation of the world, Binding God Simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 425. Bai Zi opened his eyes again as his vision gradually became clearer. At this moment, he suddenly realized that he was already outside the Imperial Capital Academy. In front of him, a taxi stopped and the driver kept urging him. "Classmates? Classmates? Are you going or not?" Bai Zi came back to his senses and nodded repeatedly, "Go, go, go." After that, he quickly got in the car and prepared to return to the Sulan competition area. But the previous conversation and the things the god of the Federation said were still faintly echoing in his mind. Especially the last thing, when Bai Zi asked why he died, he chose not to answer directly. This shows that there is definitely something fishy. In other words, is it really possible for him to die during the game? Who did it, and who dared to do it? In front of countless audiences across the country, the Federation Star Marshal, the presidents of the 10 major colleges and the god of the Federation. Who dared to murder the 11th world star of the Federation? Bai Zi really couldn't figure it out, but it was even more impossible for him to choose to abstain. This is a rare opportunity, even a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Even if he faces the risk of death, Bai Zi will never choose to give up. Besides, he doesn't think that with his ability, he will really die in someone's hands. Gradually, the car stopped, and Bai Zi had arrived at the door of the apartment. It was only when he got off the car that he realized that it was already night. It was only noon when they entered that space, and the conversation was barely a few minutes, but the speed of time in the outside world was very fast. It seems that the ability of the god of the Federation is indeed as rumored, and it can no longer be described by common sense. It can be done without the knowledge of gods and ghosts. Shaking his head, Bai Zi returned to the apartment. Xia Yunyu and the others were there, and there were 2 more familiar mentors. They were talking about something, and they happened to see Bai Zi coming back. "Oh! Bai Zi is back. Come and sit down, come and sit down." Teacher Zhou waved his head, and Bai Zi walked over. "Teacher Zhou, why did you suddenly think of coming here?" "Oh, isn't it the final stage of the national competition coming up soon? I'm worried that you're not ready. I heard from Yunyu and the others that the 2 principals gave a scholarship. They have already prepared all the prop cards needed for the competition. How about you, how are the prop cards prepared?" Bai Zi smiled casually after hearing this. "Don't worry, I went out today to prepare the prop cards." Seeing Bai Zi's attitude, they were also relieved a little. But Teacher Su next to him remembered something and took out his mobile phone. "By the way, Bai Zi, did you see what happened today?" "What happened today?" Bai Zi was puzzled. "The second stage of the competition has only ended for 1 day, what big thing can happen? Take a look." As he said, Teacher Su had already handed the video to Bai Zi. Clear perspective, familiar people, the location of the video is in the Imperial Capital Academy. "Bai Zi, you have to look at it carefully. I, Long Aotian, do this for myself and for the goddess I admire. Here, I officially declare war on you. In the next 3rd stage of the competition, I hope we won't be drawn together. Otherwise, I will definitely teach you a lesson on behalf of my goddess." Bai Zi looked at this period of time and couldn't help showing a confused expression. The video was released at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was almost the same time when I left the office of the principal of the Imperial Capital. Moreover, the video's playback volume at this moment is about to break 100 million. This proves that in just half a day, nearly 100 million people have viewed this video. Bai Zi, this Long Aotian is the eldest grandson of the Long family of the Imperial Capital, and is also one of the sons of God of the Imperial Capital. How did you offend him? Bai Zi thought for a while, and said to Teacher Su, "I went to the Imperial Capital Academy today and did some things. I met him halfway, and there might be some friction. Hee, this is more than just a little friction. They directly posted a video to declare war, and posted it on the official account of the Imperial Capital Academy. Official account. Yes, these sons of God still have some power in the Imperial Capital Academy. No one can control him if he uses the official account. Besides, maybe even the principal of the Imperial Capital himself has acquiesced. Come to think of it, Bai Zi had slapped the Imperial Capital in the face before, and defeated the goddess Bai Xingguan head-on in terms of points. The principal of the Imperial Capital has a grudge against him, but he naturally cannot target him openly. But in secret, he can still turn a blind eye to those who target him. But speaking of it, there is one thing that makes Bai Zi feel strange. Wait, Long Aotian declared war on me, why did he borrow Bai Xingguan's name? This made Bai Zi puzzled. It was purely unnecessary, it was a superfluous thing. He kept calling her my goddess, which made Bai Zi's hair stand on end. Hee, you don't know about this yet. Suddenly, Tang Qingcheng, who was sitting next to him, laughed at Bai Zi. What's the matter? Tang Qingcheng sorted out her thoughts and stated to Bai Zi, I have met this Long Aotian several times before. He is a pure dog. It is rumored that he was fascinated by the other party's appearance on the day the goddess was born. From then on, he told everyone that the goddess was his girlfriend, and he said he would definitely chase her and announce it to all the young people in the imperial capital. As a result, within a few days, he officially met Bai Xingguan, and was crushed and warned by her. From then on, Long Aotian only dared to treat Bai Xingguan as a goddess and licked her like crazy. I never dared to call her my girlfriend again. This matter spread all over the imperial capital at that time. It made the Long family in the imperial capital lose face, and Long Aotian was even put in solitary confinement because of this. Listening to this story, Bai Zi almost couldn't help laughing out loud. I never thought that Long Aotian, who looked wild and unruly, and looked like he was the only one in the world, would be scared. But if you think about it carefully, in the imperial capital, there are more people who were suppressed by Bai Xingguan than Long Aotian. It seems that even Mu Han, who is known as the first son of God in the imperial capital, was not the same as Bai Xingguan. Just a glance at each other made him fail miserably. That's a really interesting story. So, it was because I hit Bai Xingguan and happened to have some friction with him. As a result, Long Aotian combined the resentment of the two and sent a video to declare war on me. However, Bai Zi did not take this matter to heart. First, Long Aotian is not very strong, and second, this attribute of his is indeed a bit weak. Okay, we are relieved to see that you are fine. In the remaining time, you should prepare well. Remember to go to the Imperial Capital Stadium when you have time to participate in the draw before the official competition begins. We will leave first. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 426. After saying goodbye to each other, the Sulan division also quieted down. The celebration is over, the party is over, and the next thing to do is to go all out and prepare for the third stage of the game. This round of competition is the most standard one-on-one elimination system. One game determines life and death, the winner moves forward, and the loser retreats. No mistakes are allowed, just compete with personal ability. In the remaining 5 days, Bai Zi wandered between the Genesis building and the Sulan division. Use the money in hand to continuously purchase resources to improve the biological realm. During this period, the planet is gradually prepared. Report to my lord, the required potions have been produced almost. A full 40,000 bottles of strength potions, 40,000 bottles of defense potions, 40,000 bottles of speed potions, and 20,000 bottles of rage potions. During your campaign, we can continue to produce. Baize nodded with satisfaction, not bad. These potions are enough, you did a good job. In the main world, Hyperjeton led the meteor Zerg and also came to report. My lord, the resources near the planet have been cleared. With the resources you gave us, our realm has risen significantly. Baize's eyes shifted and fell on each creature. At this stage, each of them has reached the peak, and it is not wrong to say that they have broken through half a step. With 20,000 troops and this realm, the third stage of the competition is not a problem. Unfortunately, breaking through is not that easy. Perhaps, an opportunity is needed. System. Host, Baize. Generation value, 19,000. Faith value, 118. Controlled planet, third level mother planet. Possessing main supernatural races, 5, Meteor Zerg, Treeman, Dapen, Sword, and Shield, Sea Emperor. Powers mastered by the host, God's Authority, God's Eye, God's Scepter. Special items, Item Card 6, Attack and Defense Speed Potion 40,000, Rage Potion * 20,000, Monster Cemetery, broken. System Mall, opened. Looking at the list of items displayed on the system panel, Baize secretly clenched his fists. With these things, there is no need to worry about the next game. System, exit the world. After that, Baize's consciousness gradually blurred. He opened his eyes, sat at the head of the bed, and looked at the bright sunshine outside the window. In a blink of an eye, the 5 days of preparation have passed. Today is the day when the third stage of the competition officially begins. Walking out of the room, Baize found that the two were ready. Let's go, Ziobai, let's go to the Imperial Capital Stadium. Today is the opening ceremony, all contestants must get it, otherwise they will be judged as abstentions. Seeing this, Baize responded, okay, I'll get ready, and we'll leave now. On the way to the Imperial Capital Stadium, Baize received several calls. They were all condolences from acquaintances, such as Teacher Zhou, Zhao Jinzu, and Principal Tianzhou. Of course, the other two girls were not bad either. Tang Qingcheng had some conflicts with her family, but before the opening ceremony today, she received several calls from her family. Not only from direct relatives, but also from uncles and aunts from collateral lines. It was also a call, one call after another, smiling, bowing her head and smiling. It was like treating her as a treasure, afraid that the sound would shatter. Xia Yunyu naturally had nothing to say, second place in the first list, ranked 18th in the country. Her mother bombarded her with calls crazily, and the voice was so excited that it seemed to shatter the screen. Of course, she also saw Baize's ranking. This one glance almost made her, who had been ordinary for most of her life, almost faint. She never dared to imagine that her daughter would awaken to become a creator and become a genius. Maybe at most she would dominate Nanjiao, have a little fame in college, and find a good job. Who would have thought that she would climb all the way to the top and crush countless geniuses? She even became the 18th strongest person of this generation. The most important thing is that Baize is Xia Yunyu's boyfriend. Ranked first in the country, the first on the list, standing above everything. How could she not be happy if her daughter had a promising future and her son-in-law was unparalleled? That's right, it was her son-in-law. At the same time, several people finally entered the Imperial Capital Center Stadium by car. The place was strictly guarded, and a blue barrier was directly raised around it, which was indestructible and used to protect the safety of the players inside. After all, it was not like the first opening ceremony. The opening ceremony of the third stage, those who could come here were the real trump cards in the country. The loss of any one person is a great harm to the Federation. Therefore, they must not allow any accidents. Hello, are you spectators or contestants? If you are spectators, you need to check your ticket first. If you are a contestant, you need to verify your identity before entering. At the entrance of the outer circle of the venue, a ticket inspector stopped the three people. "We are contestants," Bai replied. "Contestants." The casual ticket inspector suddenly raised his head when he heard the word. When he recognized Bai, he instantly put on a shocked face. You are. Don't need to verify your identity." "Of course, Mr. Bai, please follow me, I will take you directly to the contestant area," he said, and immediately turned around, leading Bai and the other two. From time to time, he secretly glanced behind him, his expression excited. It was indeed Bai, the first in the country, the first place on the first list who had defeated the goddess. Behind him, there were Tang Qingchu and Xia Yunyu, who were at the bottom of the second list of this competition, and the second place on the second list. Both of them are ranked at the top, and their strength is immeasurable. "Mr. Bai, we are here. Go to the front, which is the seats for the contestants." The ticket inspector stretched out his hand and gestured to the curtain in front. Bai nodded gently, led the two forward, and walked through a dark corridor. After lifting the curtain, they finally entered the interior of the Imperial Capital Stadium. At this moment, the scene that came into view made Bai feel a little trance. The stadium was crowded with people, roaring, shouting, and shouting one after another. One floating platform after another floated in the air, with a large screen hanging from the ceiling and sunlight pouring in from the central opening. A glance around, unlike the coldness at the opening of the first show. Now, almost every seat in the venue is full of people. They come from various provinces and have different identities. The only purpose of coming here is to cheer for the contestants from their own province. At the same time, the contestant seats are located below, and the 256 contestants from all over the country are basically all present. "Ziobai, there are seat numbers here, let's find a seat and sit down quickly." Bai noticed the names of the contestants engraved on the seats. He simply followed Xia Yunyu's steps and walked around. Finally, he found his seat in the bottom row. But another name was engraved on the seat next to him. Bai Xingguan. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the Beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 427. Bai, this seat is arranged according to ranking. Our position is at the back, so we'll go over first. Tang Qingcheng waved to Bai and took Xia Yunyu to the seats in the back row. Bai looked at his name and sat down calmly. "We are almost here, are you all here so early?" Bai glanced at the word Bai Xingguan, and then glanced at the person sitting in the seat. Taking this opportunity, Bai also wanted to talk to Bai Xingguan and ask about some things he had discussed with the god of the Federation before. However, Bai Xingguan stared straight ahead and sat motionless, as if she didn't want to pay attention to him at all. There was no other way, so Bai had to find another way and give a little hint. "Ahem. The device I saw in your room before. It should be used to control the fusion of the two divine powers in your body, right?" This time, Bai Xingguan suddenly turned around and stared at Bai. "Who told you?" "Well, I'm actually a little confused." Bai completely ignored Bai Xingguan's words and said to himself, "I heard that the fusion of divine power in your body will make you stronger. But you use that device to inhibit the fusion of two divine powers, which means you control yourself to become stronger. Is it because once one of the divine powers is swallowed up, the corresponding person will also disappear?" "Yes," Bai Xingran. When he heard these three words, Bai Xingran's pupils were startled. He stared at Bai with an unbelievable look. But Bai, who is good at observation, can analyze it at a glance, and he is probably right. There are two divine powers in Bai Xingguan's body, each occupying half of the energy. If one of them is swallowed, the corresponding soul will also disappear. Now, I just don't know which one will be swallowed up. However, since Bai Xingguan is the main personality, the chance of her swallowing the possessed personality Bai Xingran should be greater. Good. The opening ceremony of the third stage of this national competition has officially begun. Bai Xingran was shocked and just wanted to answer. Unexpectedly, the host's words on the central floating stage interrupted her instantly. Looking back, the largest and most magnificent floating platform is slowly rising. The large screens hanging on several sides also began to flicker. First of all, I would like to thank the audiences from all over the country for coming. It is because of you that the Federation can flourish to this day. Secondly, I would like to invite the important supervisor and referee of this competition, the principals of the top 10 colleges. Accompanied by the first warm applause, 10 figures walked slowly from behind the floating platform. They stood in front of the fence, smiling and waving. In this competition, 10 principals will serve as supervisors and referees, watching the contestants compete throughout. Under their watch, all cheating will cease to exist. Bai Zi, since you know this, hide it well. Let's talk alone when we have time. Bai Xingran pretended to be calm, which was very unlike her. However, Bai Zi still chose to nod in agreement. However, the announcement was not over yet. Next is the person in charge of this national competition, Chairman CAI of the Genesis Group. And the leader of the Star Alliance, the representative of the Federation Star Commander, Wang Star Commander. At the bottom, there was fierce applause mixed with cheers. One by one, top figures appeared in front of the public. Finally, after the cheers and shouts, the highlight of the opening ceremony came. At this point, I will be honored to read it. The total stage of this national competition has a list of 256 contestants. After the contestants are called, they can move on to the stage. Oh. The most critical stage is finally coming. I'm here just for Zhang Tianyun. Tianyun brings glory to our province. Zhaoqi. My idol. You must go to the end, my sun goddess. At the bottom of the three rankings, 176th, even the province of Qiuqian. 175 on the third list, Tianxiang from Yanyun province. Number 174 on the third list, Han Dongmei from Jiangling province. Topping the three rankings is Sun Xiaochuan from the imperial capital. Immediately afterwards, the host's voice sounded throughout the venue. One after another, players stood up from their seats and walked to the right with confident faces. Take the transparent elevator and rise to the floating platform. Their appearance caused the audience to revel one after another. At the bottom of the second list, number 64, Tang Qingcheng from Sulan province. 63 on the second list, Tianjing province. Second on the second list, Xia Yunyu from Sulan province. Topping the second list is Qin Xinlian from Yang province. Tang Qingcheng and Xia Yunyu stood up one after another and said hello when passing by Bai Zi. Then let's go up first and wait for you up there. Yeah, Bai Zi confirmed. Qin Xinlian also passed by Bai Zi. Her eyes were like stars and extremely fiery. But with just one glance, he walked straight ahead and never looked back. I'm super. The undefeated queen and the sun goddess appear on the same stage. This is the first time in history that I can see such a scene. I have no regrets in this life. That's Xia Yunyu from Sulan province. She even fooled the emperor's son. This time Surin province will win. He. Finally. The 16 people on the top list. First place, 16th place, Gu Wanchen from Tianjing province. First place, 9th place, Zhao Qi from Tianjing province. The two people not far away stood up one after another and looked at each other. Captain, let's go up. Zhao Qi nodded, and the two of them walked through the empty seats and went to the elevator. First place, 8th place, Wang Teng from the imperial capital Wang family. First place, 7th place, Long Aotian from the imperial capital Long family. The two people sitting next to each other were disgusted with each other. But seeing the other person stand up, they quickly followed and prepared to climb to the top of the floating platform. The host's announcement became louder and louder, and more players appeared on the platform. They all stood in the wind, confident and fearless. Looking down at the entire venue from a high place, the moving crowd was as small as ants, as if overlooking all living beings. 5th place on the first list, Hong Tianya from Hong Kong Province. 4th place on the first list, Hek from Shanlong Province. 3rd place on the first list, Zhang Tianyuan from Yanyuan Province. It's my turn. Zhang Tianyuan stood up and headed for the elevator. Bai Ziyi looked at them, then at the floating platform. Zhang Tianyuan, win the most precious honor for our Yanyuan province. Tianyuan, although you are not as good as a monster, you have always been my faith. Zhang Tianyuan smiled, followed the transparent elevator, and slowly stepped into the floating ceiling. So far, the most exciting contestant is about to appear. As the senior federal official who hosted the game, he looked at the only two remaining lists of personnel in his hand, and his mouth curled up. Next. 2nd place on the first list, the goddess of the imperial capital, Bai Xingguan. Creation of the world, binding God simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 428. After the words fell, Bai Xingguan stood up silently. At this moment, the atmosphere in the entire venue has been ignited to a climax. Especially in the imperial capital, the players who came to watch the match shouted Bai Xingguan's name, looking forward to her taking the stage. All the players also looked sideways, watching a slender figure walking towards them. Look here, Bai Xingguan, you deserve to be number one in my mind. Goddess. The supreme true God. The imperial city players are with the goddess. The failure last time does not mean forever. Help us win the championship. Bai Xingguan stood on the high platform, looking straight ahead. This gesture made Long Aotian's throat roll and he became nervous. Wang Ten next to him looked disdainful when he saw this. After all, he is the eldest son of the Long family in the imperial capital. He just wants to be a licking dog, but he is so nervous that he can't speak when he sees the goddess. Cut. At this time, Bai Xingguan stopped. 255 players gathered, and only the last one remained. Countless spectators in the venue looked away, frantically looking for Bai Ziyi. The host did not hesitate, raised the holographic panel in his hand, and shouted loudly. Finally, I would like to invite the first person on the list, Surin Province, the first person in the country. Bass. A long dragging sound echoed throughout the venue. Bai Ziyi took a deep breath and stood up gently from his seat. His gaze swept across the entire venue, about 100,000 spectators. Then he faced the floating rooftop above and walked slowly over. Make your way through the crowd and into the various seats. The roar of the audience exploded like thunder, seeming to shatter the venue. Bai Ziyi took the elevator all the way to the floating platform. Facing countless spectators, he held his head high. Ha ha, Bai Ziyi. We are here to cheer you on. In the next games, you must win them all. It's up to you. Number one in the country, number one in the first place, I will be here to witness history with my own eyes. The contestants from the Sulin division were shouting in the audience one by one. Snap. As the last footsteps settled, Bai Ziyi stood at the front of all the players. He looked down at the field with a long smile on his face. In the total stage of the national competition, all 256 contestants from across the country are here. I announce that the general stage of this national competition has officially begun. The host's voice came out, and the pictures on the screen hanging from the ceiling changed rapidly. The overall stage of the national competition will begin today. Now, all contestants and spectators are asked to look at the big screen and prepare for the electronic drawing of groups. Drawn by his voice, everyone looked at the big screen. Many players took a deep breath and looked quite nervous. Some people are praying that they will not be matched with the seed players of this competition so quickly. Otherwise, they can only leave with regrets. The drawing begins. There was another call, and the names of the contestants on the screen were quickly scrambled. Then, rearrange the combinations one by one and assign different opponents. With a ding, most of the names have been settled. The players looked quickly, looking for themselves. The first game will start at 12 noon today. Mukuabang from Tai Province versus Tanzio from Zio Province. The host noticed the screen and shouted out first. After this, the entire venue suddenly shook, causing violent tremors. A huge floating platform almost covered half of the spectator seats. There are elevators connected to both sides of the floating platform, and 2 seats are placed in the center, covered by a transparent crystal cover. In front of the seat, there is a shining crystal ball. Here is the battle stage where the competition is about to take place. At the same time, most of the contestants have also found the contestants they will play against in the first round. Some are in pain, some are in joy. Fortunately, in the first round, none of the ace players were matched together. On the contrary, a small number of players suffered and had to leave early. With 256 people, it's very difficult to match them together. Then see you in the second round. I hope you won't be beaten down by me. Humph, I should be the one to say this. Long Aotian and Wang Tang faced each other and said fiercely. The third stage of this competition will be held immediately after the opening ceremony, that is, today. Every day, a round of competition is held. A total of 7 rounds, or 7 days, are needed to determine the championship. The time is almost here now, it's 12 noon in half an hour. Bai Zi glanced at his phone. At this time, the host spoke again. Please prepare the 2 contestants from the first round to go to the preparation room to prepare for the competition. The remaining players can return to the spectator seats and follow the players' competition, or they can leave temporarily. But please note that once the game starts, if the players are not present, they only have 10 minutes. When 10 minutes are up, if the player still does not show up, it will be deemed as a forfeit. After understanding it, players who are about to start the competition or the next competition, they started to gather together and prepare to go to the preparation room. Bai Zi's opponent came from Tianjing province and was ranked 3rd in the rankings. He was not too strong. Moreover, his match is scheduled to be around 3 o'clock, which is not too early, so he can go to the spectator seats to watch the match first. Just a glance, Tang Qingchen was in the front row. It was the 5th game. Bai Zi, I'm going to the preparation room first, I wish you good luck. Tang Qingchen waved to Bai Zi and said goodbye. Xia Yunyu came forward and held Bai Zi. Bai, let's go down to watch the game first. Qingchen will start the game later, cheer for her. Bai Zi was about to say yes, but unexpectedly, someone suddenly appeared beside him. Bai Xingguan rushed out, grabbed Bai Zi and prepared to leave. There is still some time before the game, let's talk alone. Bai Zi, who was still confused, stopped resisting after hearing this. Hey! Bai. Bai Zi turned around and explained to Xia Yunyu. I have something to do, you go to the viewing area and wait for me. I'll come to you when I'm done. After that, Bai Zi followed Bai Xingguan and got off the elevator. Xia Yunyu was left alone, with a suspicious face. What's going on? How could Bai Zi know Bai Xingguan? If they really knew each other, they should be enemies. He broke her record in the creation building and took her first place. Why do they seem to have a good relationship now? Xiaoyunya shook her head and simply stopped thinking about it. She decided to go to the spectator seat and wait for Bai Ziyi. On the other hand, Bai Ziyi followed Bai Xingguan down the floating platform. He was led out of the center of the venue and came to a relatively quiet place near the ticket gate. There is no one here. If you want to talk to me alone, just say whatever you want. Bai Ziyi stopped Bai Xingguan and looked at her knowingly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 429. It's not a good thing to know too much about some things. Bai Ziyi frowned, knowing why you will die is not a good thing. Hearing this, Bai Xingran shook his head gently, listen to me, quit now, there will be no problem. If you insist on your own way, you will not end well. Listening to her cold words, Bai Ziyi remained silent. That's all. Don't explore more things. I just want to tell you that this national competition was set from the beginning. Although you are an unexpected accident, there is no possibility of winning the championship. On the contrary, it will hurt yourself. Bai Xingran sighed and turned around to leave. But suddenly, he was stopped by Bai Ziyi behind him. Perhaps, you can reveal something appropriately. Maybe I can help you. To be honest, your matter was told to me by the God of the Federation. Hearing the 4 words God of the Federation, Bai Xingran's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Humph. Help me. What can you do to help me? Bai Ziyi cleared his throat and raised his voice. I roughly know why you want to control the fusion of 2 divine powers. If nothing unexpected happens, if the divine powers merge successfully, you should disappear, right? What do you want to say? Can you reveal something? Maybe I can find a way to control the fusion of 2 divine powers and prevent you from disappearing. At this point, Bai Ziyi thought Bai Xingran would be tempted. Unfortunately, she just chuckled, no need. If you really want to help me, the best way is to withdraw from the competition. Otherwise, not only can you not help me, but you will also lose yourself. After saying that, Bai Xingran did not look back and walked straight out of the ticket inspection area, ready to return to the viewing area. Bai Ziyi was left alone, his face stagnant and a little confused. His invitation was rejected, which was unexpected. And this questioning has several new doubts. One is that Bai Xingran clearly stated that the national competition was set. As the accident she mentioned, it could not be set for herself. Who was it for? Bai Xingran? As the goddess of the Federation, she has always been said to be the champion, which is true. But the key is why she added at the end that it would harm Bai Ziyi herself. Second, Bai Xingguan is a double soul in one body, and it has been confirmed that one of them will disappear as the divine power merges. But she refused Bai Ziyi's help and said that only if Bai Ziyi withdraws, it will be the greatest help to her. Theoretically, it shouldn't be, because Bai Ziyi offered to help her. You know, with Bai Ziyi's current status, he is not much weaker than the goddess. Besides, he has the help of the system, and there are many good things in them all. The power of 2 people combined is not stronger than that of 1 person. As for whether Bai Xingran will be proud and not ask for help from others, it is impossible. In the face of life and death, even the proud goddess will not act on impulse. So, there is only one possibility that Bai Ziyi can guess. That is, she did not lie. Only if Bai Ziyi really quits the competition can he help her. However, the strange point is here. The 2 things are not related at all. Bai Ziyi's withdrawal from the competition can prevent the 2 souls from merging. What logic? After thinking about it, the only thing that can connect these things together is one item. Prize. That's right. In his mind, Bai Zi carefully recalled the functions of all the prizes in this competition. I just remembered that the principal of the imperial capital mentioned it when introducing the championship prize. It was discovered 18 years ago and is a unique divine object in this world. 18 years ago, it just happened to coincide with the date of Bai Xingguan's birth. Could it be that there is some connection here? Or, let's make a bolder guess. The god of the Federation once said that he knew from the beginning that Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran were two souls in one body. And, he was the only one who knew about this matter in the entire Federation. Then, even Wang Ho could see that the two divine powers in the goddess body were devouring each other, and the god of the Federation could not fail to see it. For this reason, he most likely took out a divine object that could control or heal the two divine powers devouring each other. The power of origin. Placed in the position of the champion's prize. As long as Bai Xingran wins the championship, he can get this item. This also explains the internal decision mentioned by Bai Xingran. Also, his withdrawal from the competition helped her. Bai Zi nodded gently, feeling that he had some clues. However, all this was his guess, without any evidence. Moreover, there was still a big mystery that Bai Xingran mentioned repeatedly, but did not get an answer or the slightest connection. That is Bai Zi, why did he die in the game? With a puzzled mood, Bai Zi quickly moved his steps and left the ticket inspection area. He must meet the god of the Federation again. Only he knows the answer to all the mysteries. In a blink of an eye, the game has passed one after another. Bai Zi returned to the spectator seat and sat next to Bai Xingran. The two of them were silent, as if nothing had happened before. The fifth match was between Tang Qingcheng from Sulan province and Nangang Yun from the imperial capital. The match between the two was originally a bit suspenseful. After all, Tang Qingcheng is at the bottom of the second list, and the gap with the third list is not that big. However, that is not her true level. If it weren't for assisting Bai Zi and Xia Yunyu, Tang Qingcheng might have ranked higher. So, once the Dragon of Order appeared, the game ended easily. There were about 2 hours before Bai Zi went on the court. During this period, during the rest period, Principal Tianzhou called Bai Zi to the lounge dedicated to referees. Principal, there are still 2 hours before the game. Do you suddenly come to me to tell me something? Principal Daidu patted the sofa and asked Bai Zi to sit down. That, before the game starts, I have something to give you. What is it? Principal Tianzhou glanced down and gestured to the sparkling crystal on the table. The creatures you cultivated before, the entire technological civilization is still with me. The competition is approaching, I want them to go and assist you, just in time for the first round of the competition. Now, just connect the two places directly and migrate the civilization over there. Seeing this, Bai Zi knew what to do. He stretched out his hand and covered the crystal ball. So, his consciousness also sank into the world. The two worlds attracted each other, and the transmission channels were already opened in various places. The technological civilization, ready to go, had already made preparations. Their master, the first emperor, led the demon ancestors, the demon emperor and other characters to kowtow to Bai Zi. Lord of civilization, bring all civilizations to help my father god. Hope, father god accepts. On the ground, rows of mechas, androids, clones, and iron men were crawling on the ground. The scene was unprecedentedly spectacular, just like the era of great unification at that time. Creation of the world, binding God simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 430. The entire technological civilization abandoned all the products on this planet. With all the high-tech and super equipment, they prepared to immigrate to Bai Zi's planet. This has already shown their loyalty, and Bai Zi will naturally not refuse. From now on, I will rely on you. Bai Zi waved his hand, and the transmission channel opened. In a flash, a number of interstellar battleships, emitting blue light, rushed into the transmission channel. In the homeland, Bai-Ze originally wanted to vacate a piece of land for them to station. But thinking carefully, it is completely unnecessary. Looking at the land where they lived before, it has long been out of the ground. One after another, technological islands, floating construction, connected to space elevators, star dome railways, star track trains, and other high-tech facilities. So, Bai-Ze gave them a piece of sky. Let them rebuild their living home here. Exit the world. Bai-Ze called softly, and his consciousness immediately dissipated in the two worlds. The principal of Tianzhou outside, seeing that he had arranged things properly, couldn't help but patted Bai-Ze on the shoulder. Let them play in the upcoming match. To preserve their strength and to test their abilities. Yes, Bai-Ze affirmed. I'll remember that. If nothing else, I'll go back to the spectator seats. Okay, Principal Tianzhou waved his hand. Bai-Ze turned and left, waiting for his match to start. Gradually, the matches of the players in front, Qin Xinlian and Zhao Qi, all ended quickly. At 3 o'clock, Bai-Ze had already arrived in the preparation room. The first match he had been waiting for finally started. The next match, Bai-Ze from Sulan Province, will play against Yang Tianxia from Tianjing Province. Please come to the competition seats within 10 minutes, otherwise you will be automatically judged as forfeiting. Hearing his name, Bai-Ze in the preparation room slowly stood up and sent an elevator in front. At the same time, cheers rang out from outside the stadium. I've waited until now, and finally I can see Bai-Ze on the court. I haven't seen the first one-on-one match in the country yet, this time it's a feast for the eyes. In the first game, you must win perfectly, Bai-Ze. We are here to cheer you on, come on. On the other side, in a different preparation room, Zhao Qi and Yang Tianxia were together, telling him something. Don't worry, brother Zhao Qi, I know my own strengths and weaknesses. It's my bad luck to be matched with Bai-Ze. However, I will try my best to hold on and find out if he has any hidden cards. Zhao Qi smiled with satisfaction and patted his shoulder, okay. As long as you can find out something, I won't treat you unfairly when I go back. Yeah. Then brother Zhao Qi, I'll go on the court first. After he said that, he turned and left the preparation room, ready to go to the battle platform. Zhao Qi took a deep breath and prepared to go to the spectator seat to watch the game. In fact, it was not only Tianjing province and the imperial capital that were trying to investigate Bai-Ze in various ways. Other provinces also tried to uncover Bai-Ze's past. After all, the pressure of being the first in the country was too strong. Even the originally supreme goddess felt a little dim in front of him, which made everyone pay attention. At this moment, as the elevators on both sides rose, the two players appeared on the battle platform at the same time. Seeing that the two were all there, the host stopped wasting time. The two players are all here. Please sit on the battle seat, put your hands on the connection crystal, and connect to this battle map. Walking forward, the two looked at each other and shook hands. Then, they entered the glass cover, sat on the competition seat, and put their hands on the crystal ball. Ding, the information of the opponent player is detected, and the world is being constructed. Ding, the world construction is completed, and the creatures are being transmitted. In the preparatory stage before the start of the game, the betting market has been opened outside. I say, how do you think Bai-Ze will win this game? Needless to say, it must be a complete victory. No, I mean, how many points can he win? This is good, this is good. I guess Bai-Ze will definitely hide his strength. Although Yang Tianxia is ranked 83rd on the 3 lists, he is still quite strong. It will take at least 10 minutes to finish. 10 minutes, I'll bet on you, 1 million, and 10 minutes. I don't think it's possible. In the previous games, even if the gap between the two sides was huge, they all ended in 15 or 20 minutes. This round, I'll bet on 3 million, and 20 minutes. I'll bet on you. And me. Perhaps it was a whim, or maybe it was just out of interest. Bai Xingguan, who was sitting there motionless, suddenly walked over. 5 minutes. 10 million, 5 minutes to finish. The people who came to open the market were stunned when they saw Bai Xingguan here. Including the group of creators around him, they were all stunned and dumbfounded. What the hell is going on? The goddess came down to place the bet? She bet on Bai Zi to win, and the battle will end in 5 minutes. What's going on? The goddess bet on Bai Zi to win, shouldn't they have a grudge against each other? Oh. 10 million, bet on Bai Zi to finish the game in 5 minutes, is there anyone else to follow? Bai Xingguan ignored it, threw out a purple card, and turned back to the spectator seat. Xia Yunyu and Tang Qingcheng were also a little surprised to see this scene. Bet on your opponent to win in 5 minutes? This operation is a bit weird. However, all preparations are ready at the same time. Ding, the creatures are randomly teleported, and this battle officially begins. The game time limit is half an hour, the game begins. Accompanied by a cold mechanical sound, the picture appears on the big screen. Because the schedule is tight, the game time limit is only half an hour. The time limit will slowly increase as you go back. Look, it appears, what position is this? Hey? Green, it seems to be a forest area. In each game, the location where the creatures on both sides are randomly teleported is different. However, they will definitely appear together and start fighting directly. If they find that the terrain is unfavorable, they will try to escape. Yang Tianxia's consciousness entered the world, and when he found that it was a forest area, he was delighted. The forest area was full of changes. Various trees towering into the sky could perfectly block the view. For his agile creatures, it was simply too good. They could sneak attack when advancing and guerrilla warfare when retreating. As long as he wanted, he could use the forest area to deal with Bai Zi's creatures for a long time. Great, God will not let me die. Your home court is here, come out and move around, divine wood ape, Yang Tianxia shouted. In an instant, wooden vines fell from the sky, and the jade-like figure swayed and shuttled between the treetops. Thousands of green divine apes descended here, strange and unpredictable.